Wow, today on the show, we're going to be rounding up on goals, like I said earlier. So, which is why the topic we're treating today is scoring goals in 2022. Yeah, I know you've been hearing us say score goals, scoring goals, stuff like that, and you're wondering, guys, are you doing a sports show now? No, it's not sports show, but we've been using some sports terminologies and to make sure that yes we're able to make you understand what exactly we're talking about because you're so familiar with the word setting goals. So what about you try something different, like actually scoring goals? Have you ever wondered why 442 works for Nigeria? Have you ever wondered why 442 works for that club you love so much? Have you ever wondered why every time a particular football club is about to play, you're always in high spirits? You always want to know who is going to score the next goal and all of that. And have you ever wondered the efforts, the strategy, the plan, everything that goes into that preparation that you see those guys, the wonders you see them perform on the field and everything. So imagine you being able to use that same strategy to create the life you want, the life you desire. That is why we are discussing this morning scoring goals. And like I said earlier, we'll also be taking your questions. So please, if you have any questions to ask about how to set your goals, how to achieve your goals, or probably there is something that is related to goals, or you are going through a challenges right now that you would like us to touch on, and or you need someone to talk to you about probably a plan you have and you don't know how to put it together, trust me, my boss in the house here got you covered. So back to you, sir. Before we go to the question segment, I would like you to quickly, for the sake of those who are just joining us for the first time, or should I say those that are just hearing about the topic goal for the first time, can you please, let's just start by defining what goal is, or should I say goals means, and after that we'll go to how to set it or how to score goals.
All right, so it's always a delight being on Broad Street Radio. Ojo, rain over. Thank you very much. And the entire management of Broad Street Radio, it's an exciting time. I've had a long week of coming, to make good impact stories, impact life, touch a whole lot of people. Thank you for everybody who's been following up. Thank you so much. Right, thank you from the day one, the second day, and then the third day, and then this is the fourth day. Thank you very much. For anybody who've missed out, please go on the platform Broad Street Radio on Facebook, and of course on the YouTube page to catch up with every other classes and time that we have had on this platform. And of course, you can also follow up as a backup Ola Ima Opera signature on YouTube. Follow up to watch all my videos and catch up from where we are coming from. All right, so if you're just joining, thank you very much, and we're going to have a wonderful time again today. It's always going to be an exciting time, ensuring and knowing that you're always going to be a blessing to lives. Sure. Right, so you're behind your phone, you're listening to us this morning. It's basically about ensuring that we sign you significantly, we sign on your lives positively. My name is Olahima Opera Signature, and this is my time on Broad Street Radio. So let's talk about where we are coming from and then a little nugget about today, and then we can get into a lot of questions. I mean, I got a lot of calls and messages from people saying they would want to ask questions. So today is particularly going to be about answering those questions and also making a whole lot of points about where we are coming from. So let's look at what goal setting, like a cliche, where we're coming from, and then we said that you do not set goals. We should be talking about scoring goals, right? So we should be talking about scoring goals, not necessarily setting goals, right? Your opponent, which is life or sometimes human efforts or disasters around the universe, is always not interested about you setting goals. It's not going to always look at you and what you set those goals, right? Instead, it's going to be about scoring goals, particularly if you see what's been happening in the AFCON lately. AFCON is the African Cup of Nations, right? So there is something you need to understand there. For every goals that have been scored was a goal that happened because somebody took advantage, all right, of the opportunity. So it is not because somebody was setting goals. I mean, there are formations, you have your plans, right? But the fact about it is that we should be talking about scoring goals and not necessarily about setting goals, right? Because scoring goals is largely about positioning. We said in one of our sections that you do not pursue the ball, you run to where the ball is going. So in other words, you're supposed to position, and position is another way of taking advantage of the spotlight, advantage of the opportunities to be able to score those wonderful goals. We also said that beyond just setting goals, why scoring goals is important is that you need to understand that the energy you start the year with has got to be consistent so that you can end the year right. In other words, every good thing done daily amounts to success, and bad things done daily also amounts to failure. So if I make sure I follow my goals per minute, per second, so in other words, if I have a good second, I am going to have good minutes. If I have good minutes, I am going to have good hours. And good hours leads you into a good day into a good week, and then a good week into a good year. Sure. And then year gives you a good life. Alright, so good years of course gives you a good life. So we should be concerned about the ultimate and making sure that we are driving into pursuing, the ultimate. Now largely we said goals are this integrated vision. So you have your vision, you have your purpose, which is the validation for your existence, and then you have the vision, which is your foresight based on insight, for the benefit of your insight, right? And then we said goals are the vision disintegrated, right? So in other words, if I have a big plan, how do I break them into tiny bits? At that point, that's where you have goals. We said you can smart your goals. In other words, your goals have got to be specific, they've got to be measurable, because we said that whatever you cannot measure, you cannot improve, right? Whatever you can measure, you cannot improve. So as much as possible, you need to set smart goals, specific goals, measurable goals, right? Attainable goals, realistic goals, and of course, T is time-bound goals. Today, I want to talk to you about how you can actively participate in the and be able to get the best of this year, right? I'm going to be showing you how to identify opportunities, either in your market, in your skill, right? How to create a sensitive life, right? And then you'll be able to spot opportunities, and once you're able to spot opportunities, chances are that you're going to score more goals than what you've done in the previous years, right? So we're going to be looking at how can you spot opportunities that can allow you to score goals, and how can you position to be able to score that goal, right? How do you identify opportunities, and how are you able to position so that you can be able to score that goals? The first thing I want to talk to you about is the habit of assertiveness, right? So if you're listening to me, you might want to drop the comment, right? Drop the comment, write assertiveness, assertiveness. So it's spelled as AXXERTIVE, assertiveness, right? Now you want to understand the fact that you started the year with all high hopes. You started the year with every great energy. They told you at the 31st night service that it's going to be your year of enthronement, your year of tenacity, your year of abundance, your year of this, your year of that. I mean, you started the year with all enthusiasm. You started the year with all enthusiasm. You need to find a way to keep that energy and stay enthusiastic from the beginning of the year and then to the end of the year. Now, there are goal killers, there are goal hurdles, right? As much as possible, you want to be able to know that the energy you start the year with is likely going to be distorted over time as you continue to go with your goals. Now, but this is it. The reason why you need to be assertive is that it is a continuous habit of enthusiasm. Does it make sense to you? It's a continuous habit of enthusiasm. Assertion or being assertive talks to you about staying on the positive side of whatever thing that has happened to you. Now listen, simple emotional intelligence tells that it is not what has happened to you, but it's about your response. So in other words, as you continue to go along with your goals for 2022, you want to be sure that you are guarding your energy. If you're a Christian, scripture says that you guard your heart with all diligence, right? So people will come in 2022 to want to distort your plan. That goal would look like they are unachievable. As you start to implement and already start work, a lot of things will come in to make you feel that you are not the best of the best who deserve this thing. I mean, a lot of things will test you. It will test your patience. But one of the things I want you to remember is that you need to find a way to stay assertive. You need to find a way to continually be enthusiastic. Listen, there's something I teach in the Potent School. It's called the law of maintenance. The law of maintenance talks about the fact that everything, right? Everything will maintain the attitude of the source. Everything. So whatever it takes to create a thing, same source will be needed to maintain it, right? So the human body was made from the soil, and the pomade, the cream, and every other thing that you use to moisturize your skin were also product of the soil. So if the human body was created from the soil, you need that source from the soil to be able to maintain it, right? So if the year started for you with great enthusiasm, great energy, great assertion, you were positive, you forgot about the things that you did not achieve in 2021, and then you decided to look into 22 with bright hopes, bright intentionality, right? You want to be able to keep that same energy, and one of the reasons why you must keep that energy is that whatever it takes to have created this year for you, you need that same habit, that same power, that same energy to be able to maintain it, right? You need to be able to maintain it. So if you start that year with great love, irrespective of whatever is going to be happening in your life in 2022, please maintain the year with great love. If you started with setting goals and also putting goals that you want to score for the year, please don't stop. If you started with a good habit of reading books and also going through fasting and praying, you want to be able to understand the fact that you need to maintain that same energy that you started the year with. Why? Because assertion is about responding positively irrespective of what the action is, right? So it is not what is going to happen to you in 2022 that matters. It is not what is currently happening to you that matters. It is basically about how you choose to respond to it, right? It is basically about how you choose to respond to it. Will bring me to a simple equation called the E plus the R equal to O, right? The E plus the R equal to O. The E talks about the fact that there are events of your life, right? There are events of your life. And then R talks about your response to the events of your life, equal to O, which is the outcome. In other words, if you check the left side of the equation, you realize that you may not be able to control the events of your life, right? You may not be able to tell that the person you love is going to always love you. You may not be able to tell that the money you invested in that business is not going to, go south, right? But the most important thing about it is that you may not be able to control the events of your life, the events of 2022, right? In 2020, nobody planned for COVID. I mean, all the prophecies were not able to even capture COVID and the entire pandemic that happened in that year, right? But the reality about it is that you may not be able to control the events of your life. I mean, blame anybody for whatever happens to the events of your life, the events that will happen to you on earth. Blame anybody, blame life, blame the government, blame all of those people. You were super correct. Now listen, but when it comes to the response you give to these events of your life, you don't want to blame anyone. Why? Because you have 100% energy on how you choose to respond to the events of your life, right? So it is most times not about the events of your life, it is how you choose to respond to the ease of your life that gives you the authentic output of what you expect, right? It gives you the outcome. So this is how it is. If you have a negative event, you want to give it a positive response, right? And then it will give you a positive outcome. If you have a positive event, you want to be able to give it a positive response, so that you should be able to have a positive outcome. If you have a negative event and you give it a negative response, chances are that your outcome and output for the year is also going to be negative. Shout with me, assertiveness, right? So you want to stay assertive, you want to stay continuously enthusiastic, hopeful, expectant. So everything that has been said about this year, whether they are prophecies, whether they are data, whether they are figures, whether they are facts, believe it, right? Believe it, believe it, believe it, believe it. Start to operate in the excellence of those things that you've heard and believe, and start to operate in practical of those things, right? And then it will eventually happen. You need to be expectant. You need to be expectant, right? I will talk to you about assertiveness. One other thing you need to understand is that the moment you stay assertive, what happens is that the antennas of your life, the antennas of your heart and your head is able to connect to great ideas immediately you see them, right? So let's talk about positioning, right? We've talked about the fact that as the opportunities come, you need to be assertive to know which one to respond to. Now, but about positioning, the fact remains that nobody is going to do your responsibilities for you. It doesn't matter how much I love you, right? I love my wife, I love my daughter, I love my child, I love my mom, I love whatever thing that you love on this earth, right? Whatever thing that you have decided to love on this earth. The reality about it is that nobody is going to do your growing for you. Nobody will do your responsibilities for you. So no matter how much I love Ojo, right? I'm not going to say to Ojo, please go ahead with this radio show. All right, or go ahead with this radio show on my behalf. Let me go to the toilet. It's not possible. I cannot do his food for him or do his feeding for him, right? Because I love him, right? So nobody can go to the toilet on your behalf. Nobody in the same right can ever take the responsibility that you are designed to take. I mean, the responsibilities are yours and yours alone. And you need to understand that. Now, in understanding that that responsibility is yours, nobody can do your growing for you. So this year, you want to be able to create more opportunities by ensuring that you increase your value. Don't forget, I've always said that you increase your value or you decrease your chances. If you increase your value, your chances increases. If you decreases your value, your chances decreases. Now, the point about responsibility taking is the fact that life is a personal, untransferable adventure. So, in other words, nobody will go through that adventurous path for you. It is your business to do your growing yourself, to do your impact yourself, to do your responsibilities yourself and yourself and yourself alone. So, when you start thinking in that light, one of the things that you want to discover, which is the other thing I'm going to talk to you about, is that you want to be able to kill idleness. Right? You want to be able to kill boredom. Now listen, when I say kill idleness or kill boredom, I don't mean you need to alter ego it. Alter ego. I don't mean you need to alter ego it. I mean, a lot of people got into some very meaningless relationship because during the COVID era, a lot of them were bored and idle, right? A lot of people get into things that don't fit them because they are idle, and then of course they are what? They have boredom. Right? So, and that's why they say that an idle man is the devil's workshop. Now, listen to this. It is not only the devil's workshop, but the reality about it is that an idle man is likely an empty man, right? It is an empty, of course, it's an empty drum the same makes the loudest noise, right? It is an empty drum that has a chance to roll and go check out something else, right? So, the point about it is that you want to be able to kill boredom. You want to be able to kill boredom. So if you stay on the responsive side of life this year, if you stay on the path of making sure that you do your bills, you take responsibilities, chances are that you are breaking the metrics, you're breaking your chance of being idle, you're breaking your chance of being lazy. Right? You want to be able to kill laziness and kill idleness. Don't forget that if you lose the ultimate, you become a prisoner of the immediate. If you lose the ultimate, you become a prisoner of the immediate. So the questions you want to ask yourself is, what is the ultimate for you in 2022? What are the ultimates for every month? What are the ultimate for every week? What are the ultimate for every day? As an organization and also as a person, as a business, or somebody who is career-minded, whatever you are doing, you want to be able to set that path and ask yourself deep questions. What matters to you for 2022? What matters to you? What matters to you? Now, you don't want to assume that what you see on social media is what should matter to you, right? Because everything you see is a script happening to you because you're idle and because you're bored, right? But the moment you start to happen to life, what happens is that other people who are supposed to make your life miserable give way, right? Because an active hand, of course, is an active life. Does it make sense? Can I say that again? An active hand is an active life. So you want to stay proactive, right? You want to stay proactive. And the moment you're on that path, it is important that you understand that you are killing boredom and then you are killing idleness, right? So one thing for sure I want you to know is that there are a whole lot of time wasters, right? And goals are particularly about time, right? Every goal is valid for a time. The same way they say every vision is valid for a time, the same way every opportunities are valid for a time, right? Every opportunities are valid for a time. So one of the things you want to do is that you want to be able to open up your signals and be attentive and be sensitive to time wasters. Right? Time wasters can come in form of human beings. They can come in form of fruitless activities, right? So you are busy, but you're not adding value to the market, right? Because you are just concerned about wasting time. You're concerned about just getting into any kind of activity. So this year you want to be able to ask yourself, what are the things that matters to you? Now you must understand that what counts is not the same as what matters. Listen to this. Education matters, but school counts. Right? So the same way relationship counts, but fellowship matters. Now, so it is not about having a relationship with you, it's about knowing the fact that we are fellows, right? We share same value, we have the same respect for the same vision, we like the same thing. So it is not basically about relating, it is not about fellowship, right? So you want to be able to look at it in business that, oh yes, having that deal counts, but cash flow matters. Right? So these are the things that matters to you. So you want to be able to look at what counts and what matters. Most of the times, what counts are always in your want space. And what matters are always in your need space. Do not forget, I'm always saying that there's a difference between a want and a need. A need is the basic form in which your need is a basic part of your life, is a basic part of your human life. But the forms in the wants are the forms in which your needs appear. So in other words, you need food, but you can want either rice or beans. Now, those things respond to your human difference per time, right? So you want to be able to know that, right? That you need education, you need development, you need to improve that skills, but you will choose between what skill and what skill should I do. At that point of option is where want is driving you. But at the point of knowing that you do not have an option, this is the only thing that can happen to you, is where the need is driving you. So I know that it is a need in my life that I need God. I know that it's a need in my life that I'm not called to be small, I'm called to do big things, right? I'm going to be a world-class personality filled with solutions. Solutions in leadership, solutions in business and enterprise, solution in social agendas and work, right? I know, I am clear that that is my need. I am just so clear about the fact that that's my need, right? That's what I am going to be. I'm going to be a need to life affecting those particular world part time. Now, but the reality about it is that you want to be able to be sure that at every point in time, you are differentiating what is the want, what is the things that count, what is the things that is in your option list as against what is your ultimate needs, right? And you want to be able to look at these things and understand that you can cut waste, right? You can cut waste. Every time wasters, you cut them off. Now, another thing is that you want to be able to also be sensitive and not allow any waste go to waste. Get that right? Not allow any waste go to waste. I mean, my company, we're doing a particular project now with Lagos State government. It's called circular economy. And then it is a huge one, right? In the circular economy discipline, and a major language spoke around the world now, it's about knowing that you are not running a linear economy. So you want to be able to ask yourself, as a person, as a human being, is your life linear? Those who know me will tell you I hate it when people talk linearly. I hate it when people talk from the place of being linear, right? I hate it when an answer, when a suggestion is just too linear. Linear is too surface. The linear economy is the economy that says produce, use, and trash. Produce, use, and trash. But the circular economy that comes to talk about the fact that you produce, You use, instead of trashing, what do? You reuse or you recycle, right? And that's the power. How can you go back to so many things you have learned many years ago? How do you have those ideas that you were using before? How can you recycle them? Right? How can you recycle them? Have you discovered that nothing on earth is new? All you have is just innovation. And what innovation basically is about doing new things with existing things, right? So using new approaches with existing things, right? So it's important that you understand that. So ask yourself, what is that idea that I have in the past? What is that habit? What is that vision that I have in the past that I need to recycle? That I need to recycle and get me back on track so that I'll be able to make great impacts in my life and concerned about making sure that I'm a need to my world and not necessarily a want. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. My name is Alaima Opera and I'm Signature.
Wow, as usual, he's always, hitting every point.